All right. We're live. Got to get this. So in now, go to your Instagram on your browser, and you're going to wait a second, and then you're going to hit go live there. And then now we're live on Instagram. And then,
all right, we're live.
So then you hit go live on Instagram. Then you go into your Facebook. Now you got to go share it to your Facebook group.
Oh, dude. What we're doing this live. Stand by 1 second. All right. Let's see. Share to group.
And that's how we get it done.
All right.
I'll share it to a couple groups.
Yeah, you know what? I'll share to a few groups too while we're going live. Let's see.
I'm trying to get a lot of people on here, you know.
What was that?
Trying to get as many people on here as you can.
Yeah. Let's see.
All right, I'm almost done.
Oh, I got one more I'm going to share it to. There you go.
What else do I want to share it?
You know, I don't usually go live on Instagram, so this is
Really? Get a ton of traction on Instagram, but I go live anyways.
You do get a lot of transit.
Not a ton.
Yeah, I feel like that's a hard platform to dominate. It's the best to communicate, but it's a hard one to dominate.
Exactly. What's going on, Raphael? I already got people coming in. We'll get all these people in. Mr. Ian Horowitz sent me a message this morning telling me that he could beat me to my $1 million net. He was like, you know what? I'm going to one-up you. You have a little dick, and I'm going to buy $50 million worth of real estate before you net $1 million. That's what he said.
You know, that's not exactly what I said, but this goes back to the conversation we were having just the other day with you and Jason on Deal Champs about being a millionaire, having $1 million in the bank versus net worth. So it's like a continued conversation, but that conversation made me like all amped up. I've been working on rebuilding out our group, CREsyndicate.com. You know, we've been grinding that out. And I'm like, dude, how do I provide more value? How do I provide more content? Everybody's always like, yo, bro, like I can't find deals. I can't do anything. And it's just like, I don't know, man. It felt right. You know, transparently, we do have some deals in the works that I may or may not know about. I don't know if they're going to come about. But with that being said, like, why not, dude? Fuck it. That's like, what is it? 6 months? That's basically $8 million a month. Like, game on. It's time to push ourselves over the edge. It's been so long since I've been pushed over the edge. You know, it was a grind to get out of the fire department. Bang, did that. Then we had a fucking crazy run. And now it's like I kind of been like lolling around, dude. I need the action. So game on. Let's do it, brother.
It's been fun to have like a goal and like laser in on it. And be like, all right, here's what we're fucking doing. Like I've been getting 4 hours of sleep this entire week. Going to bed at like midnight to 11, waking up at 4 a.m. and just waking up, doing the same thing over and over. And like you're laser focused. You know what your goal is. You're going after it. And I think the deadline and doing it in public is the real secret.
Well, I think the live stream in public, having communication, having conversations, showing people what you're doing, because people just think it's like, oh, Ian and Dan have it figured out. Stratton has it figured out. Dean has it figured out. Not even the littlest bit. So my goal is to go live an hour a day to show people like, dude, some days blows and I literally just have a thumb up my butt, and other days it's all out war. And it's just like crazy. Like today I underwrote a deal, a 20 unit deal that we're looking at in Baltimore. And, you know, I don't know what's going to come of it. You know, in the end, like I feel like it's a deal. I just haven't really figured out how to put the numbers together. And here I am underwriting it live in front of everybody. And I'm like, oh shit. Like, it's like checks and balances. It holds you accountable. Is this right? Is this wrong? How do you feel about this? You know what I mean? So it's been fun to do this in real time. And today was day one. So talk to me 6 months from now, but let's see if this pushes us over the edge to keep it moving.
I haven't liked saying addresses live. even if I don't have a huge audience, I don't want to say addresses live.
Yeah, I can see that, and I think that's what makes it hard to do, because especially when you're underwriting, like I want to give everyone a real look, and that's why I know you challenged me today to say like go live, do this live, put this out there to everybody you know. And I'm like, well, I kind of want to do it behind closed doors inside of our private group, because I feel like there's trust behind those doors and people aren't going to go behind my back. But I can see how it's an issue to talk about addresses. But if I want to show people how to underwrite deals, like unfortunately, and if I'm going to do it in real time, unfortunately, I got to give up I almost have to give up the address and show people what I'm doing, and go through it. So
Most of your stuff is broker, anyways, right? Like, because the broker would just tell the dude to fuck off.
yeah, well, that would be my assumption. And I mean, look, honestly, and just like for everyone, it's like, hey man, if the deal works, great. If it doesn't, fucking chalk it, keep it moving. You know what I mean? So it'll be, we're gonna get into a rhythm here to figure out what the best way to do this is. But I mean, I don't know what kind of feedback you've been getting, but to me, it's like everybody's like, well, how do you underwrite it? How do you do this? And like, I'm trying to show them like step one is, the BS crumbled pieces of paper, like writing it down, playing with it. Step two is my bullshit pro forma. Step three is getting it in contract. Step four is like really dialing in the pro forma, really making sure this works. So that's what I'm trying to show, because there's a lot of moving parts that take a lot of time, but it also doesn't take a lot of time. And I think that's what people need to realize. Like, you got to be willing to put in the work when nobody else is looking. I mean, dude, you're on the West Coast. I'm on the East Coast. It's 7:30 at night. Stratton said, yo, you want to do a podcast or a live stream? I said, absolutely. Wife's out with the kids. And I said, you know what? Let me shoot down there. What else am I going to do? And honestly, I was just sitting there BSing, looking at deals and going through some of the other stuff I had already talked about today, optimizing what we did. So it was a no-brainer to come down here and do this. And this is what sets people apart, putting in the hard work.
But I think it's going to be. I think you could blow it out of the water. I think your goal is easier than my goal, based off of where you're at. Besides raising the cash is the hard part, but you guys are still pretty good at raising cash.
Yeah, I mean, raising cash might be a hard piece to it, but I really think, the dollar amounts that we're looking at,
It's like 3-4.
What's that?
It's like 3-4 deals.
It could be. I mean, but we're gonna run the gamut. Like right now, so what kind of started all this? We're working on a deal. It's a commercial asset. It has environmental problems. I did a case study inside of our group. It's got some environmental issues, but we can pick it up for like $700,000. Cool. But then the broker has a potential buyer on the back end for $975 if we clean up a little bit of environmental issues. And I'm like, oh shit. Well, why don't we go in there, do the hard work, pick it up for $7, sell it for $975? All right, then there's $1 million off the $50 million goal. It's a long way, but if I can get that one in contract, knock
so
down
it's worth $7 million, but a buyer will buy it for 1.9, not 9.
No, 1 point. I'm sorry, they'll buy it for $975. I'm using round numbers, so that's $1 million off the ticker. I'm doing ARV. I'm doing back end ARV. So we're buying it for $7. I think I can sell it for about $1 million. Cool, let's do that one. That's $1 million off that's one check in this whole check mark. This apartment building we're looking at, we're buying it for 2.5. I think it might be worth $4 million. I got to do some more due diligence, but boom, if we can lock that one up, I'm already 10% into my goal, and this is kind of what we talked about. Like when I came out and spoke at your event, even it was like, hey guys, you're all doing single family real estate. You're grinding, flipping all these deals. No offense, but like, yeah, you guys are cash strong, but here we are. I only got to concentrate on 2 deals to gain 10% on my $50 million goal. How many deals do you think it would take you to do $5 million of wholesale?
Oh, bro. I mean, so Nick did 5.9 last year, and I think they do like 20 to 30 contracts a month.
Right. So 20 to 30 contracts a month's probably what you think 3% conversion rate. They're talking to 100 to 200 leads a month, grinding away every single day, probably more.
Oh, bro, more than that. way more than that. Like you're talking to, we have 100 and call it in this whole month we've gotten 250 to 300 leads.
Yeah.
And we have 14 contracts, and we'll close on half of those.
Right.
That's 7 of them, and that'll be worth probably 100.
Right. Exactly. So Nick Perry probably did what, 1,000? He's probably doing 1,000 leads to hit those numbers a month. That's 12,000 leads. Whereas I'm looking at maybe to hit our goal, I bet you if I looked at 50 properties, that would be a lot. If I had to guess, if I wanted to go a little bit wider and say I looked at every deal and combed every deal, I look at a lot more deals than that. But like actually sitting down, underwriting and saying,
Underwriting and
is there potential here? I'd probably say it's somewhere between 50 to 60 deals to hit that number. But you know what? Again, it's hitting that, but then also on the backside, like you said, I got to go. If I get some of these in contract, I got to go get a syndication agreement. I got to go do all kinds of front-loaded work. I got to go and close the deal, raise the capital. You know, if we buy a 20, you know, let's just say we luck out and buy a $10 million deal, I got to come up with $3-4 million of capital. So that's what's going to be interesting through this whole process, because it's going to stress every single thing we have. But with that being said, being transparent about it, I hope more people want to get involved. I hope people are like, yo, dude, I'm interested in that. Like showing people how we're funding it. How can you use your IRA? How can you use your cash? What's the best way to execute? Maybe I don't have to be the operator of real estate. Like, again, that's the transparency that comes out of all this. And I think it's the same thing that you're doing. You're showing people it's really effing hard to do real estate, but it's also equally as easy if you're willing to put in the work.
yeah, I'd say building a business is harder than doing deals. It would be the best way I could put it. Like building like actual infrastructure around everything that I have going on right now. That's the hard part, is like building all the systems, doing the transactions. And Nick told me, like, bro, you're going to get a lot of transactions and you're going to get overwhelmed. I was like, no way. And we got all these transactions and now we're fucking running around with our heads cut off.
So so that's been an issue. How you been managing that? Like,
we slowed down lead flow this week because I hired on 2 new sales reps. We hired on 3. One of them didn't end up working out, which ended up being for the best anyways. The 2 new sales reps are absolute killers. What is this? Day 3. Day 3, I think they're both on the phones. They start on the phones at 6 a.m. PST. It's almost 5 p.m. They're still on the phones making offers. So like the grind and the hustle is there. And so that's been really good. Kalani's going to have to step in and help with dispositions for a minute until I find someone. Because luckily I lucked out with an amazing operator, significant other, who's like the complete opposite of me. She handles like all of our storage portfolio operations. I just handle raising money and sales. Yeah. Right. And then I can think of the system, but I don't want to go be the one to like put it together. She's really good at that. And so we hired on our sales admin, and she's taken a lot of the burden off me. Really, it's when you get to this point, it's just delegation. And then because I started it with 0 money, I was like, I'll do it starting from 0. And so I was like, okay, I have $1,000. I'll throw it into that. I bet you I've thrown in $2-3 grand in property walks and pictures and inspections. And then after this, my next hire will more than likely be a dispositions person. And then I'll have like my solid base going. And then after that, I'll just have to replicate that base.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been looking at, and I haven't figured out how to crack it because I'm having the same problem, is like, I've really ramped up underwriting. Okay, well, that means other parts of our business are going to suffer, and I need to figure out where they're going to suffer. So I've started posting some VA data entry, pro forma type stuff to have people start underwriting side by side with us. I've also looked at trying to figure out how to get AI. I've seen some products starting to hit the marketplace for multifamily underwriting, all with AI. And I'm like, okay, well, that's really interesting. You know, so
pull all the data. That's what I'd be interested in.
Yeah, so I think they're back end pulling it from CoStar or apartments.com. You have to still manually enter a lot of information, but then it cranks out the whole pro forma across the board, which, dude, I think that's a game changer, right? But then you also get into the problem of like, it's just an algorithm basically like telling you, is it good? You still have to go out.
Underwrite it, bro. You still have to actually go through and double check it because you don't know if it's like foolproof. Anything with like that, you still end up, it's there. I think that's just to give you an idea if it's worth it or not. And it just eliminates like that initial glance and you can just kind of sift it all through.
Yeah.
And then you still have to do your deep underwriting.
Yeah. And I think I like getting in and looking at the numbers, the data entry and the formulas and all that other stuff, even though they're preset, like I still have to go back and check it. It's like weird. Like if someone else built the template and I just had to tell it like, hey, 2 bedroom, 1 bath, we expect X, and storage facility, we expect Y. Like I'd be like, oh, shit, like that's easy to do. Like I could do that because I do like looking at the comparables. I do like looking at the financial projections, but the actual data entry, and it actually takes away, because like the one I was looking at, you could load up the T12 with expenses. So if you take your T12 with expenses and it also forces your hand to figure out like new expenses going forward, I think what it's going to do is it takes away the human element. Because like I caught myself doing it today on live stream, and I'm glad I was live streaming because I was like, well, you know what? From an accountability standpoint, I expect this X, Y, and Z to happen. But you know what? Like we need to be even more cautious right now because we are pulling the hood back and saying, hey guys, this is what we're working on right now. So with that being said, it's going to continue to get even more interesting going forward with what AI can do. I'm not a fan politically of what it's doing to the world, but in the same sense, if there's a tool that you can utilize to make your business better and make you more powerful, why would we not investigate it?
I don't think when you say the human element, I think it'll take someone, they're going to have to train it really well to know what a quality product of apartment or storage facility is. And then I wonder if it's even worth the money to go. Well, I guess you could go sell this thing to a fucking hedge fund and tell them pay you 50 grand a year for it. And so that's probably worth it, right? You go and sell 30 different funds. But like, cause like knowing what an A class, B class, C class, and D class is, knowing just based off of photos what the type of facility it is, like all that, I don't see AI necessarily taking all that in and going over it well.
No. And then here's the thing, you still have to go out and execute the deal, right? Like, so you can put whatever you want on paper. It doesn't mean shit until you get to it's like practicing all week and then you get out Sunday to go play ball. You don't have a choice. You got to go play, right?
Bro, is my mouth stuck wide open?
Yeah, dude, you look great. There you go. You're all better. What I was saying is you got to go out and execute the deal, right? And it's like practicing all week, getting out there, and you go to play football and somebody mows over your star player immediately. Then what do? Right? Everybody got a game plan until you get punched in the mouth. Then what? So you can underwrite all you want. You don't know what's going to happen until you get into that deal. And that's, I think, maybe some of the differences in our two challenges. Yours is a little more transactional. Mine's a little more like, okay, well, we got to get to the finish line for us to reap the benefits.
What do you see being your biggest bottleneck?
I think my biggest bottleneck is honestly going to be if we buy, let's just say we get everything at like 60 cents on the dollar, that's $30 million. We're going to need right around 10 to 12 million bucks of capital. Now it's going to be across several different deals, so it might not be that bad, but that's really going to stress our system and find out how much capital we can really raise or not raise. I think that's one pain point. And I think another pain point is stressing the team, right? Like, this is my personal goal. I've tossed this out there, but I still need my team members to be on board. And we have a lot of other assets that we're actively working on today. We already have $70 million worth of real estate, right? So now we're taking 70 and we're basically almost doubling the size of the portfolio if
So the
all
team
this happens. What's
the
that?
team breaks. The team breaks.
The team could break, and we don't know. And we've been so we do a monthly deals
Well, not
meeting.
the team, but the systems break. All the systems will break.
Yeah. It's not the team members breaking. The team members get overloaded that then break this processes inside the system. So we can only do so much. But then on side by side with that, you also need to generate additional income to add new team members to assist you in project management, admin management, bill pays, whatever it is. There's a lot of moving parts that could potentially happen here. So I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun.
How are you going to add more income?
Yeah, for us, adding income is going to come through. There's going to be some small acquisition fees. There's going to be some, cash flow immediately. The goal is going to be find value add deals at cash flow day one, which is really stinking hard right now. We might look at a few development deals to pick up some development fees along the way, and act as the construction company. But the majority of what we're going to do is going to be value add type deals. So I don't know, man. We've been actively looking at development deals because of that cash flow as a part of it, coming out, building the deals, bringing that resource to our capital investors. But yeah, that's going to be our number one revenue source. Unfortunately, in the commercial space, stumbling on a deal that I don't want to do and just wholesaling it or saying, Strat, you got a buyer is not as easy as it is in the single family space. So we could get backed into a corner where we might be buying deals but not be producing any income for the foreseeable future. So,
and you can't refinance any debt either.
I mean, we can, but the time to get in and stabilize. I mean, that's one thing I've been thinking about is like, how do I raise another $5 million per se and be able to refinance them all immediately? So, like, part of my thought process is this apartment building doesn't need a lot of CapEx. So then it's like, okay, well, if it doesn't need a lot of CapEx, just go in, pay cash, prove concept, go back to one of our lenders, refinance it, and try to pick up some additional cash out the door that we can disperse to ourselves. But again, debt is hovering in the eights. I think it's getting ready to come down. I know the 10-year treasury is down a little bit. That's starting to help. Hopefully we start to see sub 6.5 numbers on debt. I think that'll help move the markets a lot to generate, allow us to generate some revenue through refinances.
Well, so one thing I always think about, so I've been negotiating on this $10 million storage deal for like 3 months now. And I've been going back and forth with this old dude. And it's a legitimate value add deal. And I'm just amazed that I'm going to find a value add deal at 10 million. How are you finding a $20 million value add deal? I feel like that's really, really, really hard because those people are a lot more sophisticated.
It could be. I mean, dude, again, it's everybody's at somewhere in this food chain, right? Our job in this food chain is to take really shitty properties, stabilize them, prove concept, and sell them off, right? The next person will say the same thing. They sit there, oh, you're selling your facilities for 20 million bucks. How is that still a value add deal? But the next level of sophistication has private equity money or whatever it is. Yo, we're going to increase revenue. We're going to increase fees. We're going to increase X, Y, and Z. That's their value add strategy is different than us, right? We're fixers. All of us are fixers at our level. Mm-hmm. So finding those deals are out there. You just need to find the right operators and the right opportunities. So, who knows? I'd like to think that we could find a portfolio of storage or industrial that, like I'm looking at a deal right now, an industrial deal that I haven't put it in the game yet, but I've been doing a lot of back and forth on it if I want to take it and underwrite it. And I think I'm going to put it up on the scoreboard here soon to get underwritten. But with that being said, it's a legacy owner. He's got more money than he knows what to do with, and he's letting this property die. Great. Sign me up. So, and that was that's an off-market broker deal that called me the other day. And I'm like, holy shit, like that thing's $5.5 million. How did this guy let this thing go to crap? We could buy it at $100 a foot and turn around and sell it at $175 a foot just by putting a little bit of elbow grease into it. And it's like, wow, man, like They are out there. It's just everybody's at a different stage of the life, so there's a lot of, again, another deal with a lot of hair around it. I think the more hair you can find, the more drama you can find, the better deals you can go out and acquire. Again, it's the headache that you're willing to deal with.
Why don't you just hire on like really good interns to underwrite? Like I was talking to Pace, and he was like, "Bro, I hire dudes from Stanford, and their job is solely to underwrite deals for me all day."
Yeah, I haven't figured out how to get them to work for free for me. But yeah, that's 100%.
Yeah, what it is like that at your level at this point. Like that's kind of like the next hire.
100%. And there's a friend of mine who has a friend of a friend, and he's ungodly rich, and he'll only do 2 deals a year.
Yeah.
And it's literally him and 2 guys, and the 2 guys, their job is to underwrite deals every single day. And he might only do 2 deals all year with his own money. That is literally his staff, him and 2 underwriters, and that is effing it. And the more I think about it, is like the more we can underwrite, the more reps we can do, the better looks we're going to get.
So with that, that's interesting. So I know a dude, he's like 33. His net worth is 40 million. He owns probably 100 million worth of stuff. Right? And he's syndicated a bunch of apartments. He has a third-party property manager that manages all of his property managers. So is that kind of like what you get to only have 2 employees? Because that sounds dope. That's like sounds like family office-ish.
Yeah.
Where essentially like you just have 2 dudes who are underwriting all day, and then we all look, hey, you get an equity split, you get an equity split for doing the deal. I already have the cash. Let's get it done.
Yeah. I would say if you want to be that streamlined, you really need to vet the property managers you're dealing with. And that's one thing we've been looking at what assets we want to buy, what quality of assets we want to buy, what stuff we want to develop or not develop. Because again, it goes back to, we handle a lot of day to day, and we're looking to push some of that off our plate, and we're looking to bring more construction in-house. That's what we know well. We can manage, we can stabilize the initial, hey, we're coming in here as bulls. We can do that. After that, like the long-term management, we want to start to pass that off. We want to keep our team small. I agree. And go from there. I don't have any desire to have 50 or 100 employees running a full-blown operation. I love the idea of the responsibility and the lives that we could change with it, but that can happen organically. I'd rather grind it out, do really, really good deals continually, and find the best deals we can, and find the best property managers, find the best vendors who can support what we're doing. Because guess what? That's equally as much as an employee as it is a team member, as it is someone that's side by side to get the deals done with you.
With that, so are you underwriting just knowing, all right, 3 to 10%? Does that have to think about it now? Because it sucks a decent amount of cash out of it.
What's that? Oh, property management?
Yeah, like I feel like it could destroy the deal.
It could, but a lot of what we look at is stuff that's already been underwritten by brokers, and they're going to toss that fee in there anyway. And honestly, as we start to grow the team, if we're going to self-manage, we need to pay ourselves to property manage. And that's something that we've learned over the past few years, buying as much commercial real estate as we've done. We always like, oh, we'll do it for free. We'll do it for free. We'll do it for free. And it's like, well, that was stupid. Right. And because it was out of fear that our investors wouldn't understand. But honestly, our investors are like, no, if you got to pay yourself to get the best talent you can to make these properties exponentially better, then go do it. So staying with inside industry averages and being able to utilize those fees, not as a profit center, but as a way to hire the best talent to help support the mission. That's what you utilize those fees for.
But then I feel like it's a part of your pitch too. When you're going to investors, like, hey, we have the best talent in the world who operates these things. That's what this operational fee, like management fee is. Because you only used to charge 1% a year, right?
Yeah, that was an asset management fee because we kind of like wiped out the property management fee, and we thought, oh yeah, whatever. But honestly, that doesn't offset it.
I did the math on that, bro, and it was disgustingly low.
Yeah.
I was like, why even take that? Like, it doesn't pay for anyone's salary.
No, it's not worth our headache, So, and with that being said, like you said, this money is being used to hire the best talent in the world. That statement right there should not matter if we're hiring the person or they're a vendor. Like that should not matter to anybody. It should be we're hiring the best talent in the world. Well, some of that talent might reside with inside of our organization, and some of that talent might reside as a third party vendor. We're going to decide which ones were the professionals and the best choice for management, and we're going to decide which ones we need to go out and get the best third party vendor we can find. And that is what that fee is used for. We don't mark it up. It's a straight pass through cost.
You think you're gonna do a debt fund? For my
Um,
next venture, I think that's what I want to do. I'm gonna throw in with this, and this is the first time I've talked about this. I'm gonna go into I've already identified a niche I want to go, and I want to try and roll it up. I'm gonna take all of our proceeds except a little bit of cash reserves, and I'm throwing all of that in my own debt fund, and I'm gonna raise some money, and I'm gonna go buy up a bunch of shit.
yep.
I already
Yeah.
talked to Shamus is gonna back me, by the way.
Oh, is he? Let's go. I like it. I was thinking about him yesterday, and I was like, I need to track that guy down. Whatchamacallit? Yeah, we're doing a new build now. We wound up raising $1.25 million to do that deal in the form of debt. I think going forward, as much debt as we could put on deals, the better. Equity takes a lot of work. There's a lot of requirements. There's a lot of responsibility. There's a lot of back end that happens. With the debt standpoint, there's a lot of things that happen too, but it's much more transactional. God forbid something happens to someone. They don't like us. We don't like them, right? Like it's,
Yeah.
hey, debt, like get out of my way. Like when I'm married to you in an equity standpoint, like I'm stuck, dude. Like K1 season sucks for me. It is effing horrible. It's a headache, So with that being said, you got to read the opportunities. You got to read the room. The thought process that I'm going to go raise $15 million is debt is like a wet dream, and maybe it's a goal that I need to put up there. But in the same sense, it's like I'm good to figure out the blend between the two and navigate that accordingly. So it's beneficial for us and our co-investors. Dude, you got to remember our co-investors and co-lenders, they're our friends and family. They're people that we personally know. They're military, they're fire, they're police, they're first responders. So for us, it's like, we have a duty to help them and get them the best returns. Now, sometimes in some instances, the best thing to do is give them equity. If they're using IRA funds, sometimes the best thing to do is to put it into debt options, and having that trust in the capital allocation that they trust us. Those are the things that I don't want to say we take for granted, but those are the things that we're looking at all the time to navigate that line. But yeah, obviously the more debt you can do, the better it is for you as the operator, but it doesn't always mean it's better for the capital investor.
All right, I'd add more questions.
Yeah, I got.
Why do you hire a broker in house?
What's that?
Why do you just have a broker in house? Does anybody have a broker in house?
Yeah, there's some guys out there that run brokerages that acquire deals for themselves. I mean, yeah, there's some of the larger operators. They have all their own leasing agents. They have all their own brokers. They act as a third party, but they buy for themselves. I mean, I don't know, man. Like it sounds good, but then it's just like another responsibility. I'll tell you what, and I'm going to flip this question on you, is we've been looking a lot at saying, and what I would say to you is I would have a broker on staff, but that broker would come to us and say, hey, like I have this, I want to become a broker. I know how to run real estate, but I don't have business acumen to run the back end. Can you and Dan run the back end for me and finance us and do all the business stuff? Sure, I'll have that conversation. I'd be willing to do it. I'm not going out of my way to hire that person. And I've been looking much more at saying, okay, someone comes to us with an idea that they've already started to do, then we can push into them and say, hey, we'll be your business partner on that and we can help you grow. So taking kind of like a little VC option. We'll still run our own deals, but certain situations, we might look at becoming the operator or the back end operation for someone. So if someone had a brokerage and they're like, look, we do nationwide commercial deals, and I'm looking for someone to partner with that can help me on the back end, that's a conversation I'm willing to have, but I would not go out of my way to hire a broker in house to have that as dead income. I saw what's his name, Josh David, whatchamacallit, saying, why don't you monetize people with equity? I'd be more apt to have acquisition guys and gals to underwrite deals all the time to tell me what deals are good or not. We make the final decision and then cut them in on equity on some deals would be more realistic to me than having a broker on staff.
When you say, like, I like the VC model, we know a certain dude and I think his education company where they took 19% of everyone's first deal. I was like, bro, that's a hell of a way to gain some fucking equity. When we talked about it, you're like, Strat, I love you, bro, but I don't want to have to sign on to a loan and do this. When we're looking at that Nebraska deal, right?
Yep.
So that's a fuck ton of money, dude. Like, this isn't just like, yeah, we're gonna do a deal together. So, like, how would that go?
Yeah, I don't know that I want to get into coaching or consulting, but
Coaching
again,
or consulting, but like when we were looking at that Nebraska deal, and I was like, bro, Ian, I do not have the net worth to do this. Like, do you want to sign on for this and we can do this together? And you're like, honestly, no, that's not something we want to do.
Yeah,
and
no,
so I mean, you approach that with that broker.
And that's what I would look at. I would say, look, we're looking at this from the standpoint of like, how do we help your business grow? Like a good example would be like, you're like, hey, I did a few wholesale deals. Now I want to like, or not that you need this, but like, I want to organize my business on the back end. Like, how can I do that? How can I get better at accounting? How can I grow? How can I do more deals? And we have the business acumen to help someone with that. So in the broker standpoint, it's like, you just go get deals and get them to the table. We'll organize contracts. We'll organize how to make sure they're closing on time. We'll organize the bookkeeping, the advertising, the marketing spend, just the simple fact of allocating the capital correctly to say, hey, you might have made $100,000 on this commission. That doesn't mean you take $100,000 and put it in your pocket. That's, hey, you're going to get paid a piece of that commission. Money's staying in the business. Money's going to taxes, and money's going to marketing and building the budgets and building the business plan to take them to that next level. So it's like, you can get $100,000 a month, but we might need to do $500,000 a month in commissions and show them the plan. Like we recently did that with a friend of ours who stepped in, and he's running some marketing for us, and we're working with him like, all right, cool. Here's the plan. You need to go execute it, and we'll support you on the marketing stuff and going from there. So that's really where the VC model is. I mean, I'll give a shout out. I don't give a shit. Like, go check out the passiveinvesting.com guys. Like, they've kind of figured out that business model of like, their vertical is multifamily, and then they find the best operators in each vertical and say, hey, like, we'll back end you. We're going to have a big piece of control of this deal and be the back end. And then you guys just go do your thing. You tell us how much in deals you want to do each month, and we're going to go do it. So they have a hard money arm. They have a car wash arm. They have a storage arm. They have a hotel arm. And it's like, oh, they're finding the best operators. They're really, really good at raising capital and putting the deals together and propping these arms up, which is real interesting.
Okay. All right.
It makes sense.
It makes sense. It makes sense. So what was your bottleneck again? Underwriting?
Yeah. Raw underwriting and raising capital, right? Like they're going
to
be
How long does it take you to underwrite though? A day?
Formally, like ready to go to an investor group?
Yeah.
Every bit of a day, because I'm also putting the digital assets together with the underwriting pro forma to ship it out, right? Like we're pulling T12s, we're doing the tax allocations, we're doing, hey, what's our historicals on an apartment building or on a storage facility? What do they look like? Well, what are the quotes coming in for CapEx? Ryan, what's all that looking like from your standpoint? What do you want me to budget? Hey, Dan, what do you think about rent income? Raquel, what do you think about How long is it going to take to lease these? So it's just a lot of little bit of information. Like overall, holistically, I can underwrite a deal in like 10 minutes and be like, yeah, that looks good. That passes the sniff test.
Yeah.
Pass the sniff test. It takes a half day to a day, depending on the size of the deal. Like today, I was doing pass sniff test type stuff. Took me about an hour to put it together. I got to put it down and I got to go back and look at it again with a fresh mind. Because you guys got to remember, there's only like at the core root of it, there's only 5 or 6 of us that are doing a lot of the day to day. And there's a lot of moving parts, and if I'm actively trying to find deals to fulfill this $50 million goal, I'm underwriting and I'm also looking at other deals. We have a few things working and it's like, oh God, dude, like there's a lot to do. Again, it goes back to having a dedicated underwriter.
Yeah,
they don't get interrupted, You
need that full-time dedicated underwriter who's just there. Is your intern still with you?
He is. He's come on full time to run some marketing for us. So that'll be interesting to watch him grow. So that'll be fun.
I mean, you're in Philly, right?
We're in Philly. Yes, sir.
What's the number 1 college in Philly?
Well, he graduated Temple. You got UPenn. You got Drexel, right? You got
UPenn really good? Isn't UPenn an Ivy League school?
It's an Ivy League school, so I would think that I could put an internship up and figure that out. I feel
like kids would be dying to work at $100 million portfolio real estate company.
Yeah, and then they walk in and see my dumbass. Like that'd be great. Like it's the best. So I actually taught. I didn't teach, but I went on and helped the guy that was teaching a Temple real estate class. Honestly, thank you. This is why we do this shit, guys, because you're just reminding me there's a couple dudes that have reached out in the past. I'm going to go hit up and say, hey, you want to intern for the summer? That's actually really smart.
It's summertime too. It is summertime, bro.
Yeah.
Now's the time, bro. You get a fuck ton of free labor and just have them come and intern.
Mm-hmm. I got to do that. That's actually, I'm going to write that one down.
Actually, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to reach out to Fresno State Athletic Department today and be like, hey, I need an intern who can work virtually.
I'm literally putting this on my computer and I'm going to do that one. Yeah, I mean, UPenn's the Wharton School of Business where Uncle Donald went, right? Like, it's so legit.
Like, that's so legit. I'm sure they get their doors banged down with a bunch of people because I didn't know people recruited out of those schools like that.
Yeah.
But still, I'll take a B from UPenn, who's the degenerate, over a fucking nerd who doesn't have any emotional intelligence.
Yeah, no, and that's part of the problem of like hiring an underwriter is like, I think I am scared of that personality type because it's like, I don't jive with it and I got to find that right person. Now, I was going to ask you, what's the likelihood I can find that level of sophistication via virtual assistant?
I know Alex has one.
Alex
Cruzada.
Oh, really?
Alex has a dude out of Bangladesh. No, bro, a lot of my friends, when it comes to thinking and competency, I think if it's not phone skills, bro, you can get such insanely talented people.
Yeah, so I've been debating about putting up a paralegal ad on for a VA because I'm sick and tired of paying for contracts, right? And I've been debating about doing that to then have them draft the contracts. Now, you can do it via whatchamacallit? What is that shit? AI. But I'm still like not confident in AI. I'd rather articulate my LOI to a VA to then prepare the contract that we already have.
That's AI all day, son. You can get an AI, bro. You can get an AI system for fucking $50 a month. They're everywhere.
Really?
Even that, bro. Now I feel confident enough to where you're in the big boys to where if your EMD goes hard, they're gonna fucking bleed you to death. But
well, that's the thing. Like I think residential wholesale contract, like sure, I think I could AI that. I still think that I want like that little bit of lawyer there, but my thought process is whether I AI it or I'm
taking AI over a VA if it comes to contracts.
You think? You don't think I could find a good VA that went to law school overseas that wants to get paid something decent to draft a contract that I can then send to my lawyer and say, just review this for typos and language, and that's it, rather than having him draft the whole fucking thing, you know?
I would have AI drafted up and then tell him to review it.
Hmm.
Think about the composite data that AI has of someone who went and trained that like AI on that data set.
Yeah, so where I think my weakness is the ability to articulate via words to dictate what I want versus hopping on a Zoom
and hashing it out for 20 minutes.
Yep. 100%. Like I literally had 2 phone calls today, and the one lady I said, "Look, I don't know if I'm an old soul or what it is, but I'd rather just get on the phone with you, figure it out. That's why I called." She's like, "I prefer that you call." Because I am not a good articulator via email. And that's probably why my bills get run up at the lawyer, because I am not. I'd rather call, "Hey, how you doing? Relationship." Like we're boys, you know what I mean? But I don't know, man. I haven't figured it out yet.
Have you tried the new ChatGPT?
Yeah, ChatGPT 4.
Yeah, the 4 Omni.
Yeah.
You can talk to it now, bro. I've gotten it to do. When 3.5 came out, I was like halfway through building a software that identified storage facilities through Google Earth.
Really?
Yeah, of just having it help me write code. If I could have it do that, bro, you could for sure, because there's a dude in the DM family who's using AI for his law company.
Really?
Yes. I would say I'm doing that all day, and then I'm sending it over, because you can even take all of your previous LOIs, upload it, and say, "Hey, these are my sticking points on every single agreement.
Yeah.
No matter what, these sticking points are never changed." And then it will remember your sticking points whenever it needs to write up anything.
Yeah. I need to do more research and figure all that out. I need to get deeper in that game and work through it. There's just some things that are hard to break, right? Like, and I think it's the same thing like you just said, like ChatGPT 4. I could probably start to say, "Hey, write the code to build this software. Here's my non-negotiables when it comes to underwriting, and I want a template to do X, Y, and Z." But then also part of me wants to like pay someone and just do it and build the same damn thing. You know what I mean? Like I
think it's a mixture of both. I think you pay someone that helps you with the AI that you can confidently trust over time. And so you do the legwork now, but you get the return in the long term, essentially.
Yeah. 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 I don't know, man. I guess I don't know. It's fucked up.
Bro,
here's the other problem, though. Here's the other problem. The government, I'll take this political. The government's really fucked up, right? And they gave it all to us. What if they just turn it off one day? Then what? Then they're like, "Well, I relied on that forever, and I don't have my network of people." And I know that's like such a minimalist way to think, but part of me wonders, like, one day are they just going to shut it all off? Like, then what do you do? I don't think they can, but what if? I don't know, man. It's just, I don't know.
Okay, like, bro. What if they shut down the internet and then your person in the Philippines can't talk to you anymore? Who's your parent?
I know. What if your aunt? Oh, I can't say that on live TV. But yeah, I get it. I know, dude. It's minimalist. I'm just coming up with fucking excuses so I don't have to do it. All right, leave me alone. God damn.
I don't know. I mean, bro, you're one of those Midwestern boomers I've been talking about on the internet for the last couple of days. These fucking people evangelizing Donald Trump. Like, oh my God, bro.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, dude, that's
you, bro. Like, you think Trump and Jesus are in the same room. You think Trump and the most famous philosopher, the person who has affected more lives than anyone else, regardless of race or religion. The man at a point in time was probably alive, and he's changed more lives, and then the Donald, and you guys place them in the same room.
Listen, man, I believe a lot of it's political theatrics, but I'm also scared on some of the stuff that is trying to come. They're trying to say that Mar-a-Lago is not worth whatever he said it's worth.
That's wild. That's wild.
That's the shit that you got to be careful of, because how many times does your balance sheet change on a day-to-day basis? And let's just say everything's down because there's a retraction in markets, and you had submitted your PFS and it's off by $10. Technically, they could come after you. And I'm not staunch right or staunch left. In the end, I'm like, yo, dude, like, conservatively, my money. Socially, I don't give a shit what you do. Just don't touch the kids, right? And like, you want to do whatever you want behind closed doors, do what you want behind closed doors. Don't steal my stuff. Don't fuck with the kids. Like, that's simple. And don't push your beliefs on me, right? And then fiscally just responsible. Like, why do we ship money overseas? Let's just keep it here in the United States. But whatever, to each their own. I understand some of it, and sometimes I don't. Again, it's just a messed up world we live in, and we're just, let's ride, yo. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. So
you got to get over the AI, bro. It's not going away. It's not going away.
But I'm also to that point now in my life where it's like, it's another thing that I got to learn, right? Like, do you remember like looking at your dad, like when you're like fucking playing, Game Boy? Well, let's see. I went from Atari to Nintendo to Game Boy. I'm like, come on, Dad, play Game Boys. He's like, that's stupid. Like, we play Atari, and I don't want to learn that. It's like one of those things, like starting to get to that point in my life where it's like, I don't know what else and I know I need to expand my mind, but how much more I can learn. And I'm becoming a grumpy old man, I guess.
You sound like a grumpy old fucking boomer.
Oh, I got to stop speaking that shit into existence. I'm not. I'm fucking young. Let's go. So.
No, I don't want to. Computers. Yeah. Like, we were talking on the phone with a dude today in like somewhere between Illinois and Indiana, and I could tell he had no teeth. He smoked 2 packs of Marlboros a day, and he probably drank a 30 a day. Yeah. He's like, I don't have no goddamn email. That is Ian Horowitz. Horowitz, no email.
I'm not that bad. I'm not that bad. I am not that bad.
You end up there. And when does it stop? When does it stop?
You're right. You're challenging me, and I like it. It's the only reason I'm doing my challenge, because of you. Thank you. So by next time we do this call, I think we should do monthly updates from here till the end of the year. We should do, what is this? The first Friday of the month. Is that what this is? I can't tell. I don't even know what day.
This is the first Friday of the month, June 7th.
Right. First Friday of the month. From here until the end of the year, we will update ourselves, and we'll both figure out where we're at and our goals. I'm keeping a Google Sheets inside my community so people can see what deals I'm underwriting, where they're at any given time, and what I'm closing. How about you? How you keeping track of your deals?
Ours is just contracts and then what closes, and we'll post what closes. But I mean, no lie, bro. I was not prepared to have to sell these 12 properties this fast. So like, we're hoping to try and get these bitches sold, bro. It's so much. Luckily, I hired on a sales admin when I did who could help out with it.
Right.
Bro, we got to schedule 12 different people to go get photos. We got to get 12 different people inside of the houses. Like, we got to get all that. And then we still got to talk to all these buyers to find someone who's interested. Because I'm used to selling stuff in California to where essentially if you have a deal, the deal is a deal and someone will take it. In Philly, in Pittsburgh, anywhere else outside of California, bro, there's shit boxes everywhere. And everyone's like, no, I don't want it. I can go buy another shit box. So I got to buy these shit boxes for fucking pennies.
Right.
It's been interesting to where like I look at everything like based off of ARV because that's how California is. Like, oh, bro, you'll make money. And then we have 2 in Detroit right now. I was like, bro, this thing's worth $150. I can get it to you at $60 today. They're like, no, I can go buy another shit box for $20 and I'll save $10,000 because I'll buy it $10,000 cheaper than you. I got to spend a little bit less on the rehab and I still come out on top. And I was like, oh, fuck. Like, that's how much shit inventory there is in some of these cities.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more that way.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Actually, someone just hit me up about some deal. I said, I wouldn't even go near it. Even if you gave me the fucking house, I wouldn't buy it. He's like, dude, this lady wants it gone. Just sell it. Like, you think you get $5,000 for it? I said, I don't even know if I can get $5,000 for it. It is in the hood. Now, a friend of mine, he's been looking into some slow flips. He's been working that same thing. He's looking at some of these cities, $30,000, $25,000. It's a wild world, dude. It is wild. So
we're moving out. We're moving out of these shithole northern. It's like the North, bro.
Yeah.
It's like the North Midwest over to like New York and everything. Like, we can't do anything over there.
Yeah.
Baltimore. My friend Matthew Simmons is in Pittsburgh, and like we're looking at stuff in Pittsburgh, and still ARV of $100,000. If that house has been abandoned for 5 years, you're fucked.
Yeah, it's going to be abandoned for a long time now. what I would suggest, just I'm going old school here, is you got to find the blocks where you can watch it on Google Maps where they're turning for the positive. Like that's how we made a lot of money in single family real estate. We would go to the blocks where there was 1 or 2, maybe 5 vacants left. We'd buy one. We would see other people working on the block and just infilling the last of the block. Now, if you showed up and the whole block's vacant, we weren't going to be the ones to plant
You're
the
not
flag.
the trendsetter.
Yeah, and try. Yeah, no, but we would always be the infill guys. So if you can find them, dude, work the Baltimore market. Obviously, we got connections out this way, or we can give you some data insight.
I'm not going to Baltimore, bro. I'm not doing that shit.
Come on, man.
Bro, we were in a nice ass Airbnb, and across the street, it was a vacant house.
Come on, man. That's Baltimore to the T. So
with a dude walking down the street with a fucking carriage selling fruit. Like it was the strangest thing I'd ever seen.
Yeah, well, it's a different world, buddy. It is a different world. I'm glad I'm out. So anyway, but
right. It's late for you. We'll see where we're at. I mean, so in 6 months, I don't know, what's 50 million divided by 6? How much you got to buy every month? 10 million?
Yeah, 8 to 10 million.
So you got to buy 8 to 10 million.
Yeah, stop saying it like that. I just got to do a few deals a month. So, but dude, you don't know. We got to find the right one,
I feel like you could just buy a $10 million deal every month. I think that's what kind of has to be done.
Yeah.
Because you can take those down.
Yeah. And I think we just sprinkle in a couple $1 million. I think if we did 10 $1 million deals or something like that, or maybe more like 5 between like $1 and $3 million, and then like 3 or 4 big ones, I think we hit our deal.
I don't think you do the small ones, bro. I think it would bog down your team. I think that's what would break the team. That's what would break the systems is all those small transactions.
Yeah.
Because you're not built for that. You're built for, you're built for like, okay, we're at that 3 to 10 mark. We can take it down. We know the pace. Then you can just add it on. And that only really needs one more team member. If you start, because that's what I learned with doing like these 12 contracts. We're used to making 30 a deal. We have to do 3 to make 30 on one of these. Right. You have to build out we could do all this volume. Bro, you have to build out the staff to fucking handle all that volume.
Yeah. So there you go. Yeah, that's the question. Is it volume versus dollar amount, right? Like you could stay in California and smoke, 1 deal a month and make that same 30, So, or it's just a quality.
It's a mix. It's a solid mix of like keeping the lights on and then still having a market where we're fucking taking rips. But
that and being able to have the staff to assist you, right? That's the problem. You're only doing 1 deal a month in Cali, right? You don't have that staff around you. Now you're a solopreneur again. You need some of that volume to have the staff with you to be able to then do more deals, right?
Exactly.
So
exactly. All right, bro. Thank you so much for coming on.
Hell yeah, man. Anytime.
He's not gonna beat me, even though he tried to big dick me for no reason. I'm just coming home from the gym. Says, hey, bro, you're going down. You got a little dick. I'm here.
I don't get to say that often. You know what I mean? So I got to. I picked my biggest target, so I'm coming for you.
All right, bro. Well, thank you so much. I will talk to you soon, my man.
Hey, do I have to hit end live video on Instagram?
Are you on another screen on Instagram?
Yeah.
No, if you hit end, when I hit end stream, it's all over.
Oh, sweet. All right. Well, then I'll see y'all later.
All right. I'll see you in a month. Peace.